NartOutHere here breaking down ATK's Anubis A Execute from ESEA Cash Cup versus MIBR, the first ever pro official match on Anubis. Two players, Fadey and Swisher, are throwing utility, which consists of a camera smoke and molly, Catwalk molly, heaven smoke, and A flashes, while the other players will entry through A main. The nades lock out most of the choke points, allowing ATK to successfully take site, which they frag exit the A anchor. JOTA was camera, however Swisher's utility pushes him back. ATK plant and MIBR go on to save in a 4v5. Shout out to Sponge for tweeting this execute. Now if you want to see more Anubis tactics and content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and join my Discord, which I'll be uploading Anubis videos that will be only exclusive to Discord members. Link is below in the description comments. Let's hop into the POVs, shall we? motm is the entry fragger, and he's gonna rush down T stairs and gets in position to hold any aggro A main push. When his teammates group up, that's when he starts advancing into A main, and you see he has full utility when doing so. You would like to see him either use some of it early on or drop them, as there is a high chance as the entry player you're going to get killed and your utility is going to go to waste. He jiggles each corner as he walks into A main, and you want this position to be cleared before executing, otherwise the CTs have an opportunity to counter with their utility if you're entering from far away. There's not many angles motm has to worry about, as the utility takes care of the choke points, so he enters towards the left and frags exit site, and then once site is clear, motm will use his utility for camera post plant. The main positions you'll want to worry about when entering as motm is the fountain area as well as site where exit was. Skip to the next POV as MIBR opt to save in a 4v5. Fadey is the second player entering for this A execute. He has the same role as motm early on, advancing down T stairs into this boat area to watch for the A main push. He too as well is going to have full utility, likewise waits for his other teammates to group up with them, and then begins to advance into main with motm. He and motm don't throw any utility for this execute. Had the CTs threw a counter molly for main for when ATK executed, then Fadey's role is to put out that molly with his smoke. As for the execute itself, Fadey is going to enter towards the platform fountain area instead of the left like how motm did. He takes the attention away from exit, which allowed motm to wrap, and then after plant, Fadey is going to use his utility to molly CT and then re-smoke heaven and assisting with the main flank. To think about how motm and Fadey could have used their utility is that maybe in a different tactic, you go into a slower default using their nades rather than grouping up early on, and then after defaulting, potentially going into this tactic here. MisteM's role before the execute is to apply pressure onto B connector. He drops his smoke down for Fadey and makes his way down canals, where Fadey's smoke gives him cover to do so. MisteM throws a molly and flash, then groups back up. ATK leading up to this route applied heavy pressure connector and did a lot of B splits, so MisteM continues with that pressure by throwing those nades. As for the A execute itself, he doesn't throw anything and he runs in to help clear site and then picks up the main flank. Now, to see that his team execute without him leads me to think that you could have MisteM's role as the lurker. You don't even need him to be there at the execute, so keep that in mind. Swisher is going to throw an early flash towards B to show some presence, then returns through spawn to buy a nade as he makes his way down T stairs. For this tactic, Swisher is one of two players throwing utility, which will consist of a deep camera smoke and molotov. He's going to stand in this corner of the doorway, and for the smoke he aims at this part of the wood pallet, jump throw. He will follow it up with the molly aiming higher, then left and right click jump throw. This combo locks out the CTs from rotating in through camera unless they want to either run through the molly taking damage or if they have a smoke to put out the molly. Swisher advances into site and wraps all the way to Catwalk, but be careful when doing so. He's not going to go any further as that is CT, like imagine overpass B site. You wouldn't push through STs through that tunnel area for the most part. Fadey the Opera rifles this round and he's going to smoke B-con standing in this corner of the door, aims top of this tooth, then jump throw. You want to smoke off connector most of the rounds as the CTs can get there before the Ts get down to the stairs. Afterwards he advances down T stairs picking up the bomb, and he is the other player throwing utility for this execute. Fadey smokes heaven, mollies Catwalk and flashes site. The position to throw this is in the water in this corner of the walls, and for the smoke he ducks, aims at this part of the box, then run throw bind, which I'll link it below in the description. For the molly, backs up to the wall, standing, aims as shown, jump throw. Lastly, for the flash, puts his crossing here, left click throw. He then advances into site and plants. The safest plant position is to the right of the pillar towards the platform fountain side. After plant, Fadey jumps into heaven and he knows MIBR is most likely saving. Had Bowden had an op, he most likely goes to Fountain or A main. The utility you've seen from this tactic, I've covered the majority of it in my Anubis nade guide video, which I'll link below. Make sure to check that video out. JOTA is the mid player this round, playing from top camera. You're going to see that he's throwing utility when the execute comes in. Swisher's nades prevents JOTA from pushing through to camera, so he decides to rotate to CT, and when JOTA gets to CT, you're going to see Fadey's afterplant molly locks him out, he gets flashed, and at that point MIBR decide to save. Exit is going to be anchoring A as MIBR decide to play 3B due to the heavy pressure and attack coming from ATK the previous rounds leading up to round 8. Exit will choose to play site, and he has no info what's going on due to playing passive, as well as his teammates are as well. He's going to be stuck on an island as this execute comes in, and he will throw this defensive smoke that gives him a little bit of time, but gets pushed and cleared from 2 angles. That was the first ever pro execute on Anubis. Great use of utility, making it easier to take site. Like this video and comment because I pronounce Anubis correctly, and also to help the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to see more Anubis videos. Till next time, Nart out here, peace.